Years pass, technology advances and graphics become more impressive, but that doesn't always mean that current games can surpass the classics of the past. Often, it feels like they just don't make games like they used to. Those titles that marked an era, with sharp gameplay, captivating stories, and unforgettable mechanics, remain references, while many modern releases focus more on numbers than on quality. There was a time when games were made with passion, without relying on constant updates to function or exploitative practices to hold the player's attention. They were complete experiences from the very start, challenging, surprising, and delivering epic adventures that stayed in the memory of those who played them. In this list, it's time to remember those games that still outshine today's major releases. Classics that define genres, raise the level of the industry, and remain just as good, or even better, than many modern AAA games. I'm Jax, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring daily content, so you don't miss a single detail from the gaming universe. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd be really happy. Gamer to gamer. Kicking off our list, we have Castlevania Lords of Shadow, a brutal journey of revenge and redemption in a world immersed in darkness. Humanity is on the brink of collapse, tormented by demonic creatures and restless souls. The balance has been broken, and the heavens seem to have abandoned the living. Amidst this chaos, you are the last hope, a warrior from the Brotherhood of Light seeking answers, driven only by the desire for revenge and the call of something much greater. Death took everything that mattered. Your wife was brutally murdered, and her soul trapped between worlds. But there is a chance to savor the Mask of God, a legendary artifact capable of restoring life and purifying the earth. To find it, you must defeat the Dark Lords and cross corrupted realms, where every shadow hides indescribable horrors. Your weapons are limited, your body is human, but your determination must be unbreakable. The challenges ahead are relentless. Cursed forests, ruined castles, and forgotten mountains conceal colossal enemies and long-buried secrets. Each battle requires precision, strategy, and the use of skills acquired along the journey. The Combat Cross, your only ally, can be upgraded to face increasingly terrifying threats. But the true battle isn't just against the creatures of darkness. It's against what remains of you after each sacrifice made on this irreversible path. In second place, we have Ninja Gaiden, a game that takes action to an extreme level, combining intense combat with a story of revenge and honor. After the massacre of his village and the theft of a sacred relic, the path becomes clear, set out to find those responsible and reclaim what was lost. Combat requires total mastery of ninja skills, where speed and strategy are essential for survival. The arsenal includes sharp swords, shurikens, and ninjutsu techniques capable of shifting the course of battle. The intensity increases with constant ambushes, fights against multiple opponents, and colossal bosses that test every move. The world doesn't forgive mistakes, and the only way to move forward is by refining every strike, every dodge, and every decision. The adrenaline stays high from start to finish, with a frenetic pace and stages that challenge both skill and patience. Through narrow corridors, ancient temples, and cities torn apart by chaos, each battle brings you closer to the final confrontation. In third place, we have Dishonored 2, a sequel that elevates the mix of stealth, action, and supernatural powers. 15 years after the events of the first game, a coup dethrones the Empress, plunging the Empire into a new period of chaos. It's up to you to reclaim power and restore order, choosing between two protagonists, each with unique abilities and perspectives. The plot unfolds through open, interactive missions, where every decision alters the course of the story. The freedom of approach is the heart of the game. Alternative paths and creative solutions allow for discreet infiltrations or brutal confrontations, depending on your style. The supernatural powers bring new possibilities, like traveling through shadows, chaining enemies' fates, or manipulating the environment to turn the tide in your favor. Exploration rewards every corner you investigate, whether with hidden secrets or new ways to bypass threats. The cities offer rich settings and oppressive atmospheres, full of mystery and details that reinforce immersion. Each mission features distinct locations, from mechanical mansions full of traps to streets devastated by dust storms and faction disputes. The refined design and balance between narrative and gameplay make this journey one of the most engaging in the genre. In fourth place, Skyrim remains one of the most immersive RPGs ever made, offering a vast world where every choice leads down a different path. A civil war devastates the land, while ancient beings awaken, bringing chaos and the promise of a new fate. Amid all this, there's total freedom to follow any course, defend kingdoms, delve into forbidden sorcery, lead a guild of assassins, or simply wander snowy mountains in search of forgotten relics. The richness of the game isn't just in the main quest, but also in the stories scattered across the map. Side missions have plots so engaging they could easily be the focus of entire games. Every city has its own intrigues, every ruin holds ancient secrets, and every character may reveal an unexpected detail. Exploring doesn't mean just crossing wild lands, but discovering living pieces of a civilization that reacts to every action taken. The combat allows total adaptation to the player's style. The blade can be swapped for sorcery, the bow can eliminate enemies from a distance, or the stealthy path can turn every encounter into a game of patience. There are no limitations on how to face challenges, and it's this freedom that keeps Skyrim alive even after all these years. In fifth place, Shadow of the Colossus is a solitary and melancholic journey through a vast and forgotten land, where each step echoes in the silence. Crossing open fields, deserts, and ancient ruins gives the feeling of invading a world that once belonged to something much greater. There are no villages, common enemies, or distractions, just a mission to find and take down towering colossi that roam the horizon. Each colossus is a living puzzle, requiring strategy, patience, and courage. Climbing these titanic creatures is a battle against time and nature itself, as they thrash about to prevent your ascent. Combat doesn't rely on brute strength, but rather on determination, precision, and understanding the creature before you. Loneliness weighs on every moment. The silence of the world, broken only by the wind and the faithful horse's gallop, creates a unique sense of isolation and contemplation. The emptiness of the setting doesn't signify absence, but mystery. Each colossus defeated brings an ambiguous feeling of victory and loss, going far beyond the mere overcoming of challenges. In sixth place, Deus Ex Mankind Divided takes you to a future where humanity and machines coexist in a fragile balance. Set in a world marked by segregation between regular humans and those enhanced with cybernetic technology, the tension is at its breaking point, and every choice shapes the unfolding of events. The freedom of approach is the game's greatest strength. Each mission can be solved in countless ways, whether by sneaking, hacking systems, or confronting enemies head-on with a high-tech arsenal. The world reacts to your actions, and the decisions you make have consequences that resonate throughout the narrative. The atmosphere is dense, with vibrant cities full of stories and political conflicts. As you explore dark alleys, corporate offices, and secret facilities, the game challenges not only your tactical skills but also your morality. With each discovery, the setting becomes more complex, making it impossible to remain indifferent to the dilemmas of this dystopian world. In seventh place, Bloodborne is a dark action RPG that places you in the role of a hunter amidst a city consumed by despair. What was once a place known for its miraculous healing methods has turned into a grotesque nightmare, where an unknown plague transforms people into insane creatures. Every alley hides indescribable horrors, And the only way forward is to face terrifying enemies while unraveling the secrets of this cursed land. Combat demands aggression and precision, dodging at the right moment, attacking without hesitation, and seizing every opportunity to regain strength are part of the essence of this relentless fighting system. The arsenal includes transformable blades and firearms, adapting to various combat styles. Each encounter can be deadly, requiring quick reflexes and sharp strategies to overcome the challenges that arise at every corner. The gothic and oppressive atmosphere extends beyond the blood-soaked streets, leading to ancient ruins, forgotten temples, and horrors buried beneath the city. Between nightmares and revelations that defy understanding, the journey becomes a descent into the unknown, where monsters aren't the only threat. The truth may be even worse. In 8th place, Dante's Inferno is a brutal journey inspired by the classic work The Divine Comedy. You take on the role of a warrior who descends into the 9 circles of hell in a desperate quest to rescue his beloved soul. Each level represents a sin, reflecting the punishment of its victims with grotesque landscapes and terrifying creatures, making every progression a visual and psychological challenge. Combat is frantic and visceral, allowing the use of the Scythe of Death for devastating blows and combo attacks, as well as sacred and profane powers that adapt to your playstyle. With each choice, you can absolve or condemn souls, shaping the fate of the damned and strengthening your abilities as you decide between justice and revenge. Hell comes to life with impressive details, bringing an artistic design that transforms the journey into a unique and disturbing gameplay experience. From rivers of blood to eternal torment, each setting reinforces the weight of the journey and the hopelessness of those trapped in this realm. There's no mercy, only the promise that the worst is yet to come. In 9th place, Batman Arkham Asylum is a dark and immersive experience that redefines superhero games. You take on the role of the Dark Knight during a long and terrifying night at Arkham Asylum, where Gotham's most dangerous criminals have been set free to turn the place into their own kingdom of chaos. The intense narrative puts you face to face with brilliant yet insane minds, like the Joker, Scarecrow, and Poison Ivy, in a plot that challenges both your combat skills and your ability to investigate. The fluid fighting system lets you perform devastating combos against multiple enemies, while Detective Mode helps you solve mysteries and track hidden threats. Every corridor of the asylum hides secrets and dangers, making exploration essential for survival. The oppressive atmosphere and psychological horror elements heighten immersion, making each progression feel like a deeper descent into madness. Gotham is far away, and the only thing standing between the asylum and total collapse is you. In 10th place, Sleeping Dogs takes you into the criminal underworld of Hong Kong. As an undercover cop, the challenge is to dismantle the triads from within while keeping control over your own identity. The balance between duty and loyalty becomes increasingly fragile as missions demand tough decisions, where every choice could risk everything. The hand-to-hand combat system stands out for its brutality and fluidity, allowing devastating martial arts-inspired moves, along with brutal finishes using the environment. The frenetic chases, both on foot and in vehicles, make every confrontation feel like an electrifying action movie. The streets come alive with busy street markets, neon lights reflecting off wet asphalt, and citizens reacting to the chaos around them. Each side mission adds depth to your connection with the city and its inhabitants. From illegal races to underground fights, there's always something to discover. Progress depends on how you balance the influences of the criminal world and the law, building your reputation while navigating a world where alliances can be as dangerous as enemies. Next, we have Uncharted 3, an unrelenting quest for a long-lost secret that could change the fate of humanity. A dark conspiracy pits treasure hunters and powerful organizations in a race against time, with cryptic clues leading to a lost city wrapped in legends. What begins as yet another hunt for relics soon turns into an epic journey across the world, where every ruin explored and every clue discovered leads to an even greater danger. Traversing hidden catacombs, forgotten cities, and trap-laden temples is just part of the challenge. The dynamic combat mixes intense gunfights, thrilling chases, and brutal hand-to-hand combat, all tied together by cinematic moments that put you in control of Hollywood-worthy action scenes. The refined climbing and exploration mechanics offer even more freedom to overcome obstacles and uncover the mysteries of this legendary treasure. Whether escaping from a falling plane, facing enemies in narrow alleys, or surviving relentless sandstorms, every moment tests reflexes and strategy. Between secrets buried in time and threats beyond understanding, the line between legend and reality fades as the quest for the impossible becomes inevitable. In 12th place, BioShock 2 takes you back to a submerged and corrupted world where secrets buried for years begin to emerge. A mysterious presence is kidnapping girls and dragging them into the depths, while shadowy figures move in the darkness, following hidden purposes. The fight for truth and survival unfolds amidst the ruins of a failed utopia, where power has changed hands and new ideologies threaten to transform what remains of civilization. The battle has never been more intense. Combat has evolved, allowing the simultaneous use of different abilities and weapons, making confrontations more brutal and strategic. Genetically modified creatures roam through collapsing structures, and every corner hides traps, ambushes, and unexpected horrors. As the journey advances, the threat grows, and each step reveals more about the past, amplifying the weight of the decisions made along the way. The environment remains alive, pulsating with the despair of those who still remain and the imminent danger of a new order rising from the ruins. The oppressive waters, abandoned corridors, and the constant feeling that something is lurking make every moment unpredictable. Between decay and the struggle for control, a new cycle begins, and the only choice left is to move forward. In 13th place, God of War 3 delivers one of the most grandiose and cinematic experiences in gaming. From the very first moment, the feeling of power is absolute, placing the player at the center of epic battles against colossal enemies. Every strike is brutal. Every confrontation brings an absurd level of intensity, and the gameplay offers precise and satisfying control. The visual and audio impact still impresses, even years after the release. The narrative unfolds at a fast pace, with no room for a break. The revenge-driven journey takes you to stunning settings, where challenges arise at every moment. The brutality is not just aesthetic, but a reflection of the tragic story unfolding. Boss battles require strategy and quick reflexes, turning each fight into a true test of skill. Puzzles and platforming moments break up the repetition, adding variety to the campaign's rhythm. The combat system remains one of the most notable aspects, evolving naturally with new weapons and abilities. The progression maintains a perfect balance between challenge and reward, ensuring that every advancement feels meaningful. The sense of facing something colossal never fades, with breathtaking moments set in gigantic environments. Even after all these years, this masterpiece remains unsurpassed and continues to be a reference in the genre. In 14th place, The Last of Us places you in a destroyed world where everything has fallen apart, and survival requires sacrifices. In the midst of this chaos, a smuggler is tasked with taking a girl out of a military quarantine zone. What seemed like a simple job turns into a brutal journey, full of challenges and tough choices. Walking through ruined cities and forgotten roads, every corner reveals stories left behind, showing the weight of what has been lost. The connection between the characters grows naturally, and it's impossible not to get involved in the moments of tension and emotion along the way. It's not just the infected that make everything dangerous, but also the survivors who will do anything to stay alive. The game balances intense action with moments of silence that speak louder than words. Exploring each environment brings details that deepen immersion, like abandoned notes and objects that tell small stories of a world that no longer exists. Combat demands strategy, mixing stealth, shooting, and managing scarce resources. Every bullet counts. Every decision can change the course of the journey. Crafting improvised items is essential for survival, and enemies, both human and infected, never make things easy. The subtle, melancholic soundtrack reinforces the heavy, immersive atmosphere. Even after so many years, this game remains impactful, proving that a well-told story can be as powerful as any big production. In 15th place, Metro 2033 drops you into a post-apocalyptic world where Earth's surface has become uninhabitable. The few survivors have taken refuge in the tunnels of Moscow's metro, turning stations into small cities fighting to keep on existing. Besides the threat of mutants that roam in the darkness, humanity itself has fragmented, with rival factions fighting for territory and resources. In the middle of this chaos, a desperate mission leads a young man through this dark underworld, facing dangers that go far beyond what he ever imagined. The oppressive atmosphere makes every step in the tunnels tense, with a constant feeling of vulnerability. The scarcity of resources forces strategic decisions, whether it's conserving ammo or choosing when to avoid a confrontation. The darkness hides unpredictable threats, and the flashlight becomes one of the most valuable items, providing visibility, but also revealing your position to whatever is lurking. Outside, the devastated surface offers a new kind of danger, with radiation, storms, and lethal creatures. The gameplay balances action and stealth, giving you the freedom to approach challenges in different ways. The combat is intense, and each encounter can be lethal if not handled with care. The narrative, based on the novel of the same name, maintains an engaging pace, exploring humanity's darker side in a world where hope and despair walk hand in hand. The sense of immersion is unique, and few games manage to convey the fight for survival in a destroyed world so well. In 16th place, we have the Mafia Series, a deep dive into the world of organized crime during the Prohibition era. The story begins with a simple taxi driver who, by chance, crosses the path of the Mafia and is pulled into this dangerous underworld. At first, he resists the idea of getting involved, but as he rises in the criminal hierarchy, he realizes that the promises of power and wealth are hard to ignore. The plot unfolds with betrayals, loyalties, and moral dilemmas, making every decision feel weighty, creating a narrative worthy of the best gangster films. The City of Lost Heaven is a spectacle on its own, recreating the atmosphere of the 1930s with precision. The streets come alive, with classic cars driving around, citizens reacting to your actions, and an environment that truly transports you to the era. Every dark alley and towering building tells a story, making exploration as engaging as the narrative itself. The gameplay balances action and strategy, placing you in the center of intense missions where every decision can change the course of the story. Whether in ambushes, robberies, or clandestine meetings, the feeling of being inside a real mafia tale is constant. Few games manage to capture the glamour and danger of organized crime as well as Mafia. In 17th place, Bulletstorm turns combat into a true spectacle of chaos and creativity. After a forced landing on an abandoned resort planet, a former elite soldier finds himself between survival and the chance for revenge. But defeating enemies isn't just a necessity, it's an art. The skill shot system rewards you for eliminating adversaries in creative ways, making each encounter a fun challenge. The bolder the kill, the more points you earn, encouraging increasingly outrageous plays. The gameplay is pure adrenaline, combining destructive weapons, brutal kicks, and an energy whip that lets you launch enemies into the air. Playing conventionally works, But the real fun comes from combining attacks and using the environment to stylishly finish off opponents. The frenetic pace and sharp humor make everything even more engaging, making it hard to put down the controller. In 18th place, the Stanley Parable is a game that defies all rules and expectations. In this game, you have control, yet you don't. Your choices matter, but they also make no difference at all. The narrator guides, provokes, and reacts to your decisions, making every step a surprise. You can follow the instructions or challenge the logic of the game, but either way, the outcome will never be what you expect. It's one of those titles that plays with the mind and makes you question even your own existence within the game. The mechanics are simple, but the way everything unfolds keeps the pace engaging. Walking through seemingly normal corridors can lead to absurd and unexpected situations. There are no battles, traditional challenges, or clear objectives. The fun lies in exploring and seeing how the game responds to your decisions. Curiosity becomes the main motivation to keep playing. With each new attempt, you can discover a new ending or an alternate path that didn't make sense before. Even without real danger, tension is present in the unpredictability of the journey. The Stanley Parable delivers a unique experience where each decision can lead to an unexpected outcome, making you want to restart just to see what happens if you do everything differently. In 19th place, Killzone places you at the heart of a futuristic Cold War, where tension is always on the brink of collapse. 30 years after the last great conflict, two rival factions live separated by a massive wall, trying to maintain a fragile peace. In the midst of this scenario, an elite soldier is tasked with acting in the shadows, eliminating threats and ensuring the safety of his nation. But nothing is black and white, and as the war deteriorates, the choices made will shape the future of this divided world. The gameplay balances intense action with strategic stealth, allowing for different approaches to each situation. Each environment brings unique challenges, from frantic gunfights in destroyed streets to silent infiltrations in maximum security facilities, always maintaining a constant air of tension. Every location shows the inequality between factions, making it impossible to ignore the consequences of the clash. The narrative unfolds unpredictably, bringing dilemmas that make you question what it truly means to maintain peace. Next, we have Splinter Cell Blacklist, a game that brings back the tense and strategic stealth of the series. With a global threat growing by the second, an elite agent is tasked with stopping a series of deadly attacks against the United States. With no restrictions, he travels to various parts of the world in search of those responsible, using his experience and technological arsenal to eliminate enemies quietly and lethally. The gameplay allows for different playstyles, from sneaking unnoticed to eliminating targets swiftly and meticulously. The movements are fluid, offering full control over how to tackle each situation. The ability to mark and eliminate multiple targets in one action makes confrontations even more dynamic, ensuring clean and efficient executions. The atmosphere is intense, with missions ranging from infiltrating fortified bases to operating in urban areas full of civilians. The narrative keeps a fast pace, always raising the tension as the countdown to the attacks progresses. Every new piece of information discovered leads to tough decisions, where acting fast can prevent catastrophes. With varied settings, strategic challenges, and refined gameplay, this mission places the player at the center of a conflict where every choice can change the fate of millions. And tell me, which legendary game do you think should be on this list? One that would top many of today's titles? Also, share which game is your favorite from this video and suggest what you'd like to see next on the channel. If you can, please subscribe to the channel to help me grow and never wonder what to play again. I've left 2 videos in the card, one I picked for you and the other one YouTube chose. Just click on either one to watch. Big hug, happy gaming, and see you tomorrow.